Hello, welcome to Cinema Savvy, and welcome back to a brand new movie review. I'm Chris Garner, and no, your eyes do not deceive you. I am joined by Tate today, joining us from Austria once again.
Hey,
It's been a while, Tate. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Yeah, it has been a while. I've been so busy working up here with the ski school. I haven't really had any times to
Mhm.
review films. But I'm back on for this review, and I'm going to be definitely back for the Oscars.
Yes, and that's a good segue as any. So our announcement, we will be live streaming during the Oscar ceremony. I now have times for that. You can also check the times for yourselves on our Facebook and Twitter. Links to those are in the description down below. But in case you don't want to do that, I'll go through the times now. So Greenwich Meridian time. So for UK viewers, if you're still up at this time, we will be going live on Monday, the early hours of Monday morning at 1 a.m. If you're in Eastern Standard Time, it will be Sunday at 8 p.m. And if you're in Pacific Standard Time, it will be 5 p.m. on the Sunday. So those are your times. It's going to be a good fun. We've done it the last 2 years. We live stream all throughout the night. We talk movies. We play games. I might be drinking. I'm unsure at this stage just yet. But if you're a fan of movies, if you're a fan of the Oscars or anything like that, please do join up for that. Please do click on it and check us out that night because it will be a good fun. And also, Oscar predictions. We haven't had any in yet, so it is still to play for. So if you send us in a list of your complete Oscar predictions, first choice and second choice for each of the categories, send it into our Facebook. If you get the most points right on the night, you'll win a chance to feature on one of our future episodes. So please do get those into us. Those are all the updates out of the way. Now we'll get into our movie review for today. So we'll be talking about Ladybird, which is technically the 2017 comedy drama film directed by Greta Gerwig and starring Saoirse Ronan. I think I've nailed that
You
pronunciation.
have nailed that pronunciation.
And
Good job.
Laurie Metcalf. So yeah, this is the penultimate kind of Best Picture nominee that we need to talk about. We've got one more to talk about after this, which will be Call Me by Your Name, which I still haven't watched yet. But I'm kind of glad that we're on this review because George was going to watch it. I think he's watching this movie tonight.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
We've covered all the other movies before this point, but we love our coming of age sort of teen
Yeah,
drama
we
movies,
do.
don't we? So this is pretty good that we've landed on this one. I guess we'll just start off with our thoughts going into this movie then based on trailers or initial hype.
So it was a while back where I saw a Reddit post saying Greta Gerwig is going to be directing a coming of age teen film starring Saoirse Ronan in the lead role. And I'm not going to lie, that got me very excited. I absolutely loved her in Frances Ha. I haven't actually seen her in any other film, but she was a stellar performance in that film. So really, really looking forward to seeing what she could do from a directing standpoint or from a kind of screenwriting standpoint. And dear Lord, this film, from the first trailer onwards, I could tell this is going to be a film which I'm going to just enjoy thoroughly. It's going to be a key central performance from Saoirse Ronan, which she always gives in every single film that she does. And I'm not going to lie, I've seen this film and I fell in love with it immediately.
Mm-hmm.
It is one of the most, I'd say, unoffensive, completely down the middle films possible, but it takes the genre of coming of age and it doesn't reinvent the wheel, it perfects it. It makes it the best possible thing that it could be. And I was really surprised when I saw this film because I didn't think that you could find a coming of age film that could tackle not the topic of a person going from a young adult into an adult, but taking a young teen into a slightly later stage of a young teen situation without calling her an adult and taking her through all the emotions and taking such a small part of the coming of age area and turning it into such a fantastically well-rounded film. It's a brilliant performance from Saoirse Ronan once again. It's a brilliant performance from Laurie Metcalf. She is possibly being touted. I think Alison Janney or Janie is going to win the Best Supporting Actress. But if she doesn't win it, then definitely Laurie Metcalf is going to win it. You also have amazing surrounding performances from Timothy Chalamet. I believe that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, that's right.
And just what's his face? The one from I can't remember his name. Wait a second, let me pull it up on the IMDb. Is it Lucas Hedges? Lucas Hedges.
Yeah.
Really, really good performance from really, really young talent coming through. Yeah, this film was perfect.
Yeah, you pretty much summed up my thoughts on it as well. I mean, first off, with the director Greta Gerwig, I was just checking her past record. This was actually her writing, like sole writing credit and directional debut. So for a first entry in both of those categories, that's absolutely incredible. And I'm going to look forward to see what she makes after this movie. Saoirse Ronan, we all know your thoughts on Saoirse Ronan, how she is and always will be your Irish heartthrob. Go see Brooklyn, also, in case you haven't done that already.
Oh, of course.
You summed it up perfectly there, that in terms of a coming of age genre of a film, it doesn't reinvent the wheel. It just sort of it has its own voice and it says its own piece towards it, which I always appreciate. This genre, most genres, and now when we've had so many films come out within each respective genre, it's difficult to say something new. But it's all about the performances and the story and everything like that, and even if it's a similar story. So I guess that's sort of like my view on it. I didn't see trailers before going into this thing. The only clips I saw were a couple of the back and forth between Saoirse Ronan's character and her mother, Laurie Metcalf, which are some of the best moments in the film, and really almost the entire emotional core of the entire film is the relationship between mother and daughter.
It's not only that. The reason why I also like this film, it feels so down to earth.
Yeah.
The dialogue, and it's something that you're starting to see a lot more creeping into some films. I've seen a couple of clips from the Meyerowitz stories on Netflix, and what they're saying is, as far as that is concerned, the dialogue overlaps with each other. Someone will be saying one part of one conversation, and the person will be replying to a previous question said like half a minute ago. So the conversation started to overlap, which is what you genuinely get sometimes with families. And the conversations in this film are so real and feel so powerful because of it. You don't have to have overarching like Shakespearean dialogue or dialogue which only makes sense in like a film or an action film. This dialogue is like you are having a conversation with the characters. It's almost as if they've improvised almost all of it, and they are actual people taking on these roles. It's incredible. But it's not only that, it doesn't have to be in a big city. It doesn't have to be, oh, we're in this high school, massive college town, like most of the previous coming-of-age films. I'm thinking Breakfast Club, 16 Candles. It doesn't have to be in, like, New York, or it doesn't have to be in LA or these big cities. It's in Sacramento, in the middle of nowhere. And I love the fact that Greta Gerwig, she said after this that she wants to make a trilogy of Sacramento films. So she wants to start making films about this tiny little place, this like minuscule little place in America, because it feels more down to earth. It feels more human. And I think that's why a lot of people are connecting with this film more than some of the other films from the Oscars this year, because it's a film that you can relate to, even if you have nothing in common with it. It's a film that even if you're not a teenage girl growing up in America in a place where you're underachieving, but your dreams are much higher than what like you want.
Yeah.
You can at least agree with the dialogue between the parents and the daughter. You can at least agree with the dialogue between herself and her friends, or any of the other characters that are introduced in the film. And that's why it works on so many different levels. It's crazy.
Yeah, and like jumping on from that, what I really liked about this film is that usually when you have one of these coming of age films, although you kind of connect with the main character, they do seem a little bit bratty at the start, and it's just sort of like you just want to like backhand them at some point. But the strength of this film is that the relationship between Saoirse Ronan and the mother, you can see both sides to it. Like you can kind of see that, well, maybe she's being, not very grateful. She's a little bit selfish, wrapped up in her own world, because it's explained in the film that her parents have money issues. Like they've stayed in this house for 25 years. They thought it was going to be some kind of like place that they'd eventually be able to move bigger. They never had enough money. Her dad's been fired from work. He's looking for a job. They've got money problems left, right, and center. So you can kind of see why the mom is, has that grating relationship with the daughter, and that she doesn't think that, she's being respectful of their living situation. And also you see Saoirse Ronan in that she is this girl coming into, adulthood, hitting 18, wanting all these dreams and aspirations, wanting to go to an East Coast university, wanting to go to New York or something like that, and breaking away from the kind of constricting and very conservative life of her community, of her town. And I thought they absolutely balanced that brilliantly. And really, this might be a slight spoiler, but not really, the one thing that kind of ties them together ultimately is their love of Sacramento. Although she wants to break away from it and is adamant how much she can't stand this town, she'll do anything to get away from it. She does have that deep connection with it, and she shares a moment towards the end without communication, without dialogue, that is shared with the mother. And the mirror images between those two characters, especially towards the end, are quite incredible, and that's what I really connected with the most with this film.
Yeah, I will say one of the most, and this is probably the thing that, after seeing the film, it stuck out to me the most, and it's Saoirse Ronan's ending monologue to end off the film about driving through Sacramento. And even though it's a place that she hates, it will always feel like home. And that is something which I hope is quoted a lot more of in the future. We don't really have that many quotable moments from films from this Oscar season. But if one sticks out, can we please have this one about driving through Sacramento? And even though you're seeing the shitty bridges and the shitty townspeople and everything going through, it is home. And you cannot deny home. I loved it. I really, really did. And this film has a really good score on Rotten Tomatoes at the moment. It's on 99%.
Yeah, that's right.
Was almost on 100%, I believe you said earlier.
Yes, so it was 100% for a while, and it actually dethroned Toy Story 2, which was the previous record holder of having the most reviewed film to achieve 100% scores. So, I mean, to topple Toy Story 2 is incredible. Whether or not I agree that this movie should be a 99 or 100, that's besides the point. I still really enjoyed this movie. I think its strengths are in its performances. There's really not a lot. I don't feel like a lot of these Academy Award films, I don't feel like I have a lot to say about it, but I still really enjoyed it. I think the strength of it is in the performances. It's in the writing. True, as you said, it doesn't reinvent the wheel. It doesn't really add a lot of new stuff in terms of what we've seen in a coming-of-age comedy drama film or anything like that. But what it does say is powerful. It does stay with you. And I think it's an important message, not just for people of the same age as like Saoirse Ronan's character, like 18 or anything, going into uni, sort of like stepping into adulthood. But even for people who are older, like the parent characters, it's important to remember where you come from, no matter where you end up. And I feel that's a very sort of like Saturday morning cartoon ending monologue, life lesson kind of thing there. So before we end it on my vomit-inducing ending monologue, do you want to give your final thoughts? Do you have anything else to say on Ladybird?
Yeah, sure. You should seriously go and watch this film. Even if you're not a fan of the coming-of-age genre, this is one of the strongest Oscar contenders this year. A lot of high-up film critics. I know that general audiences are looking towards films such as Shape of Water, Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, Get Out, Call Me By Your Name to be the frontrunner for Best Picture. But if you actually look at all of the expert Oscar reviewers and expert Oscar voters, they're all saying Lady Bird's going to win it, which I've always got that one hope, because it's my number 2 pick for Best Picture behind Shape of Water. And it's really interesting to see the reason why people are saying Lady Bird is going to win it. And it's almost always because every other film, there will be some parts which some Oscar voters will like, some Oscar voters will not like. Whilst all of the expert voters are saying everyone likes Lady Bird, no one dislikes it, and because of that, it's so strong this year as far as voting is concerned. So it'd be really interesting to see what happens on the night and where it actually ends up being.
Yeah, no, I'll agree. I mean, this has been nominated for 5 awards. It's nominated for Best Picture, Best Actress for Saoirse Ronan, Best Supporting Actress for Metcalf, Best Original Screenplay, and Best Director. So it's got in there with 5 nominations, which is pretty good. I mean, even if it doesn't take any away for the night, the fact that it has been nominated is a great thing, especially for a directional debut as well. So I guess all I can say is we'll have to wait and see on the night. So that'll do it for our review on Lady Bird. Be sure to comment, subscribe, and let us know what you thought of this movie. Did you like it? Didn't you like it? I guess this is day before, but which awards do you think it's going to win? Do you think it's going to pick up anything regarding this movie, or indeed any of the Oscar movies? Please do drop us a comment. Once again, to reiterate, the night of the Oscars, we will be going live. Check our Facebook and Twitter for times on those. It's going to be good fun. Get your predictions into us. It's not too late to do so. In terms of reviews and stuff that's going on with the channel, I will probably have to jump on a review for Call Me By Your Name, which is the final Best Picture nominee that we need to do a review for. And then after the Oscars, I guess we'll be focusing on third-year anniversary videos and whatever other movies coming out. You'll be back in April too. So we should see you more often on the channel as well, which is
we hopefully should do.
Yeah, so I guess that'll do it. Thank you for everyone who watched, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.